I call the Honourable Member Honi Harawira. Tēnā koe.
I'd like to thank my colleague from Mana for speaking just prior to myself. Kia kaha, bro. I wasn't actually going to come down and speak to this, Mr. Chair, but I heard the kōrero from the Māori Party while I was up in my office, and I just had to come down. I just had to come down, and the reason why is because, Mr. Chair, when I hear about the Māori Party talking about Māori politicians getting in behind this treaty claim, etc., 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 I shake my head. I shake my head because I've been talking to the Māori students. I met with them at their annual wānanga just last week, and they told me that the only reason they had to put in a treaty claim was because they came to the Minister of Māori Affairs, an associate minister with responsibility for Māori education, to get assistance, in particular for this issue here about the review of the provisions, Mr. Chair. They came to ask for his support for this kaupapa to ensure that Māori rights would be recognised under the terms of the provisions of the clause that we're considering right here and now, the review of the provisions.
Point of order, the Honourable Member Louise Upston.
So I'd like to raise a point of order of relevance on this particular amendment to the clause.
Thank you, Ms Upston. I have actually urged the member to refer to the review.
I did actually refer to the review of the provisions at a five-yearly term. But in hearing the Māori Party talk about the fact that this needs to go before the Waitangi Tribunal, and whether Māori politicians should be lining up against it, against this bill, and in support of their claim to the tribunal, because their claim is also about the review of the provisions and when that review should take place. Because in their view, that review should be taking place immediately. Also, because they said to me that the reason why the claim has gone in, because there was no support from the Minister and no support from the Māori Party. And when I look at this report from the Education and Science Committee, I see a minority report from Labour, I see a minority report from the Greens. I hear a lot of talk from the Māori Party, but they never bothered to put it in the committee report at all. Clearly, there's no sense that the Māori Party opposes this bill. It's certainly not in this committee report. And when you ask the students themselves about this review of the provisions, Mr. Chairman, they were particularly concerned that they would have to wait for 5 years instead of those provisions being reviewed immediately. Hence the reason, Mr. Chair, why this claim has gone in. They see no support for student action to be taken from the Māori Party or from the Minister. They see no stand taken by the Minister or the Māori Party in defence of Māori rights in the review of these provisions.
A point of order, the Honourable Te Rauwhawhai.
Mr. Speaker, I find it interesting that Mr. Harawira is making accusations with respect to the Māori Party at this particular clause when he actually wasn't here at the beginning of the vote. So I don't see why the relevance of this.
That is a debatable issue, and the fact that, and not only that, but the member should know, he's been here long enough now, that you cannot refer to the absence of a member. Every member at one stage or other has to be absent from the House because they have other duties. It is against the Speaker's rulings. I call the Honourable Member Honi Harawira, and please refer to the review.
And that in the review of the provisions of this particular bill, there's been no support from the Māori Party or from the Minister. There's been no call for a special treaty case for Māori students at all. And I think the member across that side of the House knows that. There is nothing mana enhancing in this particular clause of the bill. Mr. Chairman, there is nothing in this minority report, and in fact, in terms of the review of these provisions, Mr. Chairman, there is nothing in here but a rollover by the Māori Party and their Minister to allow ACT and National to crush Māori development and Māori leadership.
Point of order. The Honourable
Mr. Chair, I bring your attention to 107 under page 44 at 5 about relevancy. Now, you've brought Mr. Harawira to attention on two occasions up till now, asked him to speak specifically to the clause at hand. He has failed to do that on two occasions. In 107.2, you have the ability to terminate his speech, and I'd ask you to do that now.
Go speak to the point of order.
Speaking to the point of order, the Honourable Hani Harawira.
Mr. Chair, on every occasion, every minute or so, I have always referred to the review of the provisions, which is what we are discussing here today. At no stage have I allowed 60 seconds to go past without specifically referring to the review of the provisions in this bill.
Thank you. The Honourable Member Rick Parker speaking to the point of order.
I would like to speak to the point of order, Mr. Chair. I'd make 2 points to you. Firstly, you will note that there has been quite an amount of interjecting on the Honourable Member Hani Harawira, and on a number of occasions he's responded to the interjections of disorderly behaviour on that side of the House. Secondly, I think it's by saying, Mr. Chair, that you are allowing this member to speak outside the scope of the bill is in actual fact implying that you're allowing this debate to be outside of standing orders, that you're allowing the standing orders to be broken. And I don't think that's right. I think that you've got a very good handle on this, and if you were in fact anywhere concerned, I'm sure that you would have brought the member back to order. And I want to say I'm very happy with the way you've been chairing the meeting tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Can I thank the Honourable Member? Can I just say to all members that the member only has a few seconds left in the speech anyway, but if the member could just refer to review, it's clause 10 as amended and put in place by the Honourable Member Grant Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Party vote mana.
I call the Honourable Tau Henare.
I move that the question be now put.
The question is that the question be now put. As many of that opinion will please say aye. Aye. The contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote call for? The clerk will conduct a party vote. Thank you.
New Zealand National?
57 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour?
42 votes opposed.
Green Party?
8 votes opposed.
Act New Zealand?
5 in favour.
Māori Party?
Excuse me. There's to be no comments at all during the taking of the vote. Can I just remind members of that? It can be seen as intimidation, and that means that it can actually appear as a breach of privilege. Continue the vote, please.
Progressive?
1 vote opposed.
United Future?
1 in favour.
Mana?
1 vote opposed.
Honourable Chris Carter?
1 opposed.
Any other votes?
Honourable members, the ayes are 63, the noes are 56. The bill, the amendment is agreed to.
No, that was the closure.
The bill clause will stand par.
Point of order, the motion is not about the amendment being agreed to, the motion's for closure. And you've called the vote as if it was the amendment. I'm sure we're now going to have a vote on the amendment.
That's right. The question will be put. My mistake.
The question is the new clause 10.
All right. The question is now that new clause 10, in the name of the Honourable Member Grant Robertson, be agreed to. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. No. The noes have it. Party vote call for. Clerk will please conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National?
57 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour?
42 votes in favour.
Green Party?
8 votes in favour.
Act New Zealand?
5 opposed.
Māori Party?
Toko toru e tau toko ana.
Progressive?
1 vote in favour.
United Future?
1 vote opposed.
Mana?
Kotahi e tautoko ana.
Honourable Chris Carter?
1 in favour.
Any other votes?
Honourable members, the ayes are 56, the noes are 63. The motion is lost. The question that there is an amendment now that proposes to add a clause 11, and the committee will now deal with that. And I wish to advise members that clause 11 is out of order, as it's contrary to the principles of the bill as agreed to at second reading. There is an amendment that proposes to add a clause 12. The committee will now deal with that. That also is in the name of the Honourable Member Grant Robertson. That also is out of order, as it's contrary to the principles of the bill as agreed to at second reading. There is an amendment also that proposes to add a clause 13, also in the name of the Honourable Member Grant Robertson. That also is out of order, as it's contrary to the principles of the bill as agreed to at second reading.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
I will report this bill. Point of order, the Honourable Member Rick Barker. The Honourable Rick Barker.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like you to expand on your rulings a little bit. I accept that it's your decision and yours alone, but it would seem to me that if you're going to rule out an amendment on the basis that it differs from what was agreed at the second reading, it would appear to me that the committee can only accept amendments which are consistent and agreeable at the second reading. And therefore it does tend to restrict the ability of the committee of the whole to amend the bill when it comes to the committee stage. I would have thought that the second reading was to a time when the House considered the report of the Select Committee, considered the bill as amended, and once that is done, it comes to the committee, and the committee itself can then make further amendments. Now, I don't know that the amendments all have to be agreeable at the second reading. Surely, if that was the case, it would have been said so quite clearly in the standing orders, and I don't recall that it does. And it could be an amendment which is inconsistent, ruled out because it's inconsistent of a previous decision of the committee, and if that was the case, then I would accept your ruling immediately. But you have made a different ruling. You have said it's inconsistent with the principles of the bill at the second reading. Now, the second reading's been and gone. It's now the committee of the whole to consider the matter as the bill stands, and therefore the committee of the whole is at liberty to amend the bill, I think, quite freely. But I accept the amendment can't be inconsistent with the principles of the bill, but you've ruled quite differently to that. And I'd like you to reflect on that, because I think you are setting the House into a new territory here, and I'd like you to expand on your decision, because I think it's not a particularly good practice to simply bring down a decision without an explanation. You have given us your decision, you have given us a reason, but it is not an explanation. And I think you should give the House an explanation as to why you have ruled it out on the second reading, different from the committee of the whole. And I'd really appreciate your very considered ruling, Mr. Chair.
Well, can I thank the Honourable Rick Barker for his considered views, and can I make the point to him that at the second reading the House actually agreed to the principle of voluntary membership of student associations. So any amendments that would directly overturn this principle are not in order, and one can turn to where are we? Page 112. Speaker's Rulings 112 6.4. Any clause is out of order which is in conflict with the provisions of the bill. And that, of course, in the second reading, the House agreed to the principle of voluntary membership of student associations. So, I will report this bill without amendment presently.
Point of order. Point of order.
I've already made a decision.
It's a new point of order, Mr.
New point of order.